Okay, Method Man dropped an album today. Um, the Meth Lab 3, The Rehab. Meth Lab 3, The Rehab. Coop hit me up about it like what 7:30 this morning. Said this Method Man is fire and Method Man spit. I concur. What were some of your thoughts? What were some of your highlights and thoughts on this album?
The highlights were, yeah, that was 7:34 this morning. I was checking to see how early I got texted you. 7:34 this morning. So the highlights are, in this climate, MCs thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've always tried to tell people is like, no, the only thing that's keeping this guy from being in the top 10 all-time conversation, no question. And I told you this. I said, if he makes a classic rap album, then you can go and put him in the top 10 because he's like that. He checks all the boxes. This album, he checks almost all the boxes. And I say this respectfully about if you loved Ransom's mic performance and wittiness and punchlines and literary devices and alliterations and similes and metaphors and contextualization and seamlessly parsing one word to the next, then how are you going to knock what Method Man just did with a better delivery and better voice? Because that's exactly what he just did. He just did everything Ransom did on the mic, but it's Method Man. He's more charismatic. He's got a better voice. He's got a better flow. He's got better delivery. He's got better cadence. And that's where the people, and remember when I sent you the text about Ransom being elite and the delivery holding him up?
Mm-hmm.
When people like Method Man perform like this on the mic, that's what I'm talking about. Because tell me that his mic performance isn't equal to Ransom, and tell me it's not way more fucking versatile and flexible and charismatic and digestible thereby because of it.
Well,
if people are gonna be like, nah, because they like that hardcore gritty shit, it's like, no.
I say this respectfully.
Crazy. He talking about, you say your girl international, I say she just abroad. Oh.
Yeah. He's great with the words.
There's like 50 bars like that on this album. I'm not even exaggerating. There's like 50 bars like that on this album. Like, he's going in. He doesn't stop going in. And he turns and navigates it delivery flow and vocal wise at Biggie's level. You can't fuck with that. You don't know the guys can fuck with that? Black Thought, Nas, Rakim. Like, that's where he is when he raps like this. You understand? It's like the only guys that are better than him are guys like that when they rap at the level that they rap at. When he raps at the level that he raps at, he's one of the 10 greatest MCs that I've ever heard. He's rapping at that level on this album.
100%. I agree with everything you said. I think the only thing that people could say that was different about, Ransom's performance, maybe Ransom took on, a little bit more subject matter or whatever. But if we're talking about just the straight up MCing, I mean, I say this respectfully. I don't think Ransom would think this is disrespectful. Method Man's just a better MC. I mean, again, I might be slightly partial. Method Man was my favorite MC growing up. And I hear... Look, I don't want to jump out the window too much, but I think this album is better than Tikal 2000. Is that fine?
I didn't even question that, Mike.
Okay. I think the real question is this better than Tikal? I think the production on Tikal is set to the part. Bring the Pain is what it is. And I'll be there for you, and the fact that you got an early Hungry Woo, that sets it apart, and I think it adds a level of nostalgia that makes this album tough to compete with. I mean, it's hard for this album to compete with the nostalgia of Tikal. Excuse me.
It is. So,
but if we're talking about on the skill level, bar for bar, he's blowing that out. Now, what did you think about the production on this?
Okay. Production-wise, he has gotten more selective, although he is still not a great beat picker.
Okay.
It's almost like the stuff that he shines on is the stuff that other people want to rap over. That's Cream, Ice Cream, Wu Gambino, Shadowbox. And it's almost like the other beats that are picked for him that you remember him over are still beats that he didn't pick outside of Bring the Pain. And I'll be there for you and some other stuff like the Rock Wilder, How High. So he hits his mark. But you want to know what this production is? It's hip hop centered and it's not complicated. And that's where he thrives. Remember him on Method Man? Method Man's not a complicated beat. Method Man actually thrives. And this is one of those things that I probably only say about Nas. Well, he's so dope as an MC that it's like, well, the beat just needs to be average to above average. And if he's performing, well, he's going to can take the rest of the track there. I don't care what these people in here say. Taken in Blood is not a fire-ass beat off of It Was Written.
Well, people in here are saying that I'm crazy for saying this is better than Tikal 2000. See, these are the kind of discussions we need to take to our Patreon and start playing these songs, side by side. I could be wrong.
So listen, the guy that's saying there's nothing on here that's better than Dangerous Grounds, stop it. He's right. There's nothing on here better than Dangerous Grounds or Play for Keeps. How about that? But how
Sweet
about
Love is pretty great
and
too.
Not songs? How about we talking about albums and not songs?
Yeah, I think from end to end, the misses on 2000 are the problem. And I love Dangerous Grounds because he went nuts on that last verse.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
I love the beat on Dangerous Grounds too.
Here we go with that Take It in Blood. Blood beat sick. No, it's not. Take It in Blood is just an above average beat. If you want to hear a fire beat, I'm going to keep telling you again, go to the message, go to the setup, go to all the beats on Illmatic that are better than Take It in Blood. Get off that bullshit.
But yeah,
I love that Take It in Blood beat. Take It in Blood is like, Mike, every day, every year on my birthday, you know the first song I play when I wake up on my birthday?
What's that?
I play Take It in Blood by Nas, and I'm telling you that beat's not fire like that. Stop that. It's the first song I play every year on my birthday, and I don't think it's the beat fire like that. But I love the way he starts off because it's my ethos. I never brag how real I keep it because it's the best secret. I rock a vest, prestigious, Cuban link, flooded Jesus. In the Lex, watching Kathy Lee and Regis. My actions are one with... No, it's not the beat on there. It's not the beat.
Ray Rims with the super chat says, Tikal is more than an album. It's a conduit to the hypnotic state of mind. Trance rap. What's that?
Tikal is more than an...
Yeah.
No. We're not going to give it a pass for that. It's like, it wasn't that. It's like, just because he's young and he's getting high a lot and being on the tour bus don't mean, the only thing that this album is missing is Bring the Pain, actually, because it doesn't need a Dangerous Grounds or a Play for Keeps. It needed a Bring the Pain to give it like some sort of classic status, because here's what I will tell you. Do you think any of Black Thought's EPs are better than this album?
No. I like Meth on Last 2 Minutes. The only song that I really didn't care for, honestly, was like King of New York.
That beat suffered.
Yeah, Guillotine was hard. Like he was taking it there. I think a moment that changed Meth was when he was sitting there with Sway and Black Thought, and he was reading from his phone, and Black Thought came in there and torched it. And I think Method Man has taken his craft up to the next level at this stage of his career because of that moment. I mean, I saw something different in Meth after that. You know what I mean? Shout out to 007 with the super chat. He said, Meth showed up, everything else didn't. And in this era, that's the artist on the playback before stamping approval. You got to make decisions. What say you? I mean, one of the things that stood out to me was the fact that he had a lot of features on there. But I know he has a acting career and all of those things, and his mic work on here or spit game, whatever, bar work, I think it made up for the fact that he had features. And I don't think that Meth has ever been that great of a beat picker. I think we compare the beats that we've heard him on to what he picks. You know what I mean?
Well, he's had the misfortune of being the centerpiece of the Wu-Tang Clan.
And some of the best beats ever made.
Well, the RZA's production run is the best production run ever. And quite frankly, he's the voice of that, Mike. He's the voice of the best production run ever. And that's what makes the disparity between his solo projects and other artists from groups, including the Wu-Tang Clan, different. I'm going to say that again. He's the voice of the producer's greatest production run. As in, when you go listen to that producer's greatest production run, there's only one voice that you hear consistently on a classic level on every single one of their seminal projects. And guess whose voice that is? On Enter the Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Cream and Method Man are the two biggest hits on there.
Him and Dirty.
Cream and Method Man are the two biggest hits. Let's go to his album. I'll Be There For You is one of the biggest rap singles ever. Bring the Pain is the Wu-Tang sound personified, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Old Dirty Bastard's album, the classic posse cut on there is Rawhide. Who's on there? Method Man and Raekwon. If you go to Cuban Links, what's the best hook on the Purple Tape, Mike? It's Method Man's hook on Ice Cream. A lot of people think it's a better hook than Cream. A lot of people think the beat is better. You agree with both. And then he comes back and does Wu Gambino's verse and hook, which is almost as epic as his previous hook and bar work on the other projects. And then he tops that off and comes and does shadow boxing, Mike. And then he does back and forth with Jizza on Living in the World Today, which literally beat-wise was making every fucking East Coast hip-hop mixtape. Living in the World Today, the beat was making more mixtapes than shadow boxing was. Then he got on Iron Man and did Box in Hand. In the middle of this, he did 2 remixes to I'll Be There For You and How High. Like, he's the voice of the run. And so when you hear his project, you want to hear those beats with that guy, and you don't get that. You're never going to get that. But this is damn close. It sounds better than all. Don't it sound better than all the Kisses album and all the Thoughts album?
Off the top, but again, I think maybe I'm a big Method Man fan, and when Method Man is on, like even when he was on the Limp Bizkit record, on the DJ Premier produced Limp Bizkit record, like all in together. Like when he's on, he's on. Shout out to Michael Sanders. He says Method Man would sound good over Alchemist beats, in my opinion. Alchemist is the answer to everything, guys. Come on. We put Alchemist on everybody. Let me ask you this, man. So what are you saying? All those things said, are you saying that Method Man is like top 10, top 15?
I mean, I had him like 15 to 20-ish, like without this level of project, and I think this is probably going to go down as his second best project. And if he had a Bring the Pain on here, I think we'd be talking about his best album. Like if he production wise had some of that classic Wu-Tang RZA stuff from that era, I think that's what we would be saying. Bar wise, this is his best performance. Listen to what I'm saying. Like lyrically on an album, this is Method Man's best performance. Like lyrically on an album,
bar for bar, I agree with that.
Beginning to end, listen to who we're talking about. We're not talking about a regular MC. That's a guy that's traded bars with Biggie seamlessly. He trades bars with Redman seamlessly, Raekwon seamlessly. Like pick an MC.
But you have also highlighted the fact that you've also highlighted the fact that his albums haven't been his strongest moments too. And I think that's always been people's problem with Method Man's albums, because like you said, those moments elsewhere are so high that we expect to hear some of that on some of his albums.
Yes. Well, lyrically, you do hear some of this on this album.
Oh yeah, lyrically, he took his pen game very, very serious on this.
No, he took it serious. He took it back.
Guillotine's crazy to me.
Guillotine's crazy. Let me ask you something. Is there anybody that's performed this way on the mic this year from beginning to end?
Ransom is the first one that comes to mind, and Ransom's not Method Man.
And Ransom's and all day, because I listened to this project 3 times today, like from when it came out to like now. Every time I got done listening to it, it's like, well, the only thing lyrically I can compare it to is Ransom, and it makes me feel bad for Ransom because here's what I'm talking about. Well, Method Man got personality, he got charisma, he's got delivery, he's got the voice, and so he is literally lyrically in the same space Ransom is in. Well, what space is Ransom in relationship to Meth in terms of those other things? Delivery, charisma, flow. Like, where is he? Entertainment level, because Meth is highly entertaining on here with his bars. The bars aren't just like punchlines for the sake of being punchline. It's the type of shit. It's that high level. It's like, no, the average MC doesn't even think like that when they think of a punchline. Like, that's why I was saying about that whole, like, your girl international, but to me, she's just abroad. He's thinking. A lot of what people go into our chat and praise Jay about with the literary devices, Meth is that on like 50 million on this album. You understand
he's doing
that?
a lot of that on here.
His literary devices, you want to talk about alliterations, syncopization of rhythmic flow and tone, consonants, assonance, dissonance, metaphor, simile, alliteration, connectivity, like anything that you would want from an MC. Technically, he covered, but I told you, when that verse on Lemon, what did I say? I said that verse on Lemon is a class on MCing.
Mm-hmm.
This album is an extension of that class. What he did on Lemon, he just did for the entirety of this album. People need to take notice.
Mannan says, what do you guys rank the 421 Day After album, the Method Man album from 2006?
That was cool. It was just cool.
Michael Sanders with the super chat says, Method Man is a good wingman, not a good solo artist. Why do you think his best work is with other artists? I mean, yeah, he had a lot of features on here, and I think he understands where his strong points are. I wish to hear Method Man more by himself in that zone, but I've always had this thing when it comes to him and Redman, because I love the Blackout album. It's one of my personal favorites. And I love the way they bounce off of each other. But I feel like Method Man thrived more with partnering up with Redman than Redman thrived partnering up with Method Man. I think Redman's
better end of the deal.
Huh?
Method Man got the better end of the
Of course,
deal.
because Redman's actually fine by himself. I actually think Redman's better by himself, where Method Man's better when he has another person or a crew.
I think Redman took, because Redman is so great by himself as a soloist. I think it took him, outside of How High, I think it took him a couple of years to get comfortable with Meth, the way Meth was inherently comfortable with him. And listen what I'm about to say, and this is the thing about Method Man. Well, Method Man is the most personable and the most charismatic person from not just the most lyrical rap collective ever, but the largest rap collective ever, which means he has no problem stepping in a fucking room with anybody.
Yeah.
His career is the evidence to it. I told you, how many classic albums is this guy attached to? He's on All Eyes on Me and Ready to Die. You want to know why? Because it don't matter what room you put him in. He just got done rhyming with Ray and Ghost and Jizza and Deck, all that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he is the personable, charismatic, and star figure around those guys. So when you put him in a room and ask him to work with somebody, you feel what I'm saying?
I think like, Snoop's the only close.
Tupac, that's Redman. It's like, so what? It's Biggie, it's Tupac, it's Redman. I'm Method Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as individuals, and like you said, having that aura, Snoop and Method Man are a whole nother level.
He's the best guest rapper ever, actually.
He might be. I'm sitting here thinking about all of those things, while you're talking. Like, if he was able to play all those things, which he would in a versus, it would be a real problem. That's why I think that the real verses that people want should be Busta Rhymes and Method Man. That's the one.
Actually, I'm gonna tell you what. If Meth gets to pull everything out, that's not what Busta wants.
I agree with that.
Meth's catalog in totality is actually something that's more comparable that you would play against bigger Snoop than Busta. That's what his shit looked like.
And then, as a performer, he's so energetic. He's a great performer, too. I think that, he doesn't get the props necessary for that because, once again, I think most of the time he's paired up with Redman, but they're both great performers. He's just
a good performer as Busta is.
I agree.
He's not the persona, but he's like live performance-wise. Yeah, live performance, he's just as good as Busta, if not better.
And he's in incredible shape. Pause. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
007 again with another super chat. Appreciate the love. He says, Meth and Jay Crawford. Meth is Jay Crawford in basketball. He could ball with anyone and cross you up even if you're not careful. He's also shows up when it counts. I don't care to be too hard on him. Yeah, I mean, I think we are too hard on Method Man sometimes, but I don't really know what we expect from a solo album. Like, what's the standard when it comes to Method Man?
So listen to
You want to hear like a whole album of Bring the Pain, and I'll be there for you?
Right. This is what I'm saying is that, well, no other artist like guest list shots is even fucking with like Biggie and Snoop's catalog shit, except for Meth. That's who Meth is. You get what I'm saying? Is that like his guest shot shit can fuck with their catalog stuff. Like, so he's that. So when people are talking about him, I told you the only thing keeping him out of my top 10 is a classic album. So this album is not a classic, but it's dope enough that I cannot take him outside of my top 15, Mike, because when you go match this up, listen to this. It's like, well, he can play Method Man. He can play Cream. He can play Wu-Tang Clan, Ain't Nothing to Fuck With. He can play.
I don't like him playing Cream. I don't like when people do like just a song that they're on the hook for, but I get it.
He's the best hook guy ever. He's the best hook guy ever. He's the guy you want to do your hook. Yeah. You feel me?
What did you think about? And I thought about that today when I was listening to the album.
Like Drake. It's like Gritty Drake. It's
what do you think about the hooks on this album?
Hook. Method Man needs to do your ghetto hook. Like, he's the best hook guy.
I was gonna say, because I remember you saying that, and we've talked about that on the show. I was thinking while I was listening to this, I was like, what did you think about the hooks on this album?
Well, I mean, he's not really doing them, though, is he?
No, he's not. But they sound like they're in his vein, though. And there was two things I was wondering, like, A, why is he not doing the hooks? And B, like, okay, could these hooks have been better if he did do
them? You're asking strong questions, and I don't really have answers for you. But I just know what the records with him on them look like, and I know they're not the same without him. It's like, so let's go to the guy who's dropping next week. It's like, well, I know he has a great catalog, but how well does he play well with others? Because this is the guy that it's like, well, he can make a solo project like this, but he's the best ever at playing well with others. And he's got more classic songs on guest appearances than the guy who's dropping next week has in his whole catalog. That's who Method Man is. Method Man's guest shots are more classic than other rap legends' whole catalogs.
But people would say that Kendrick's whole catalog of albums is better than Method Man's catalog.
It is. It's not even a question of that.
All right. Do you think that Method Man's a better MC overall than Kendrick Lamar? Who are you putting above who?
Okay, so this is one of those things with Kendrick's gap that I was telling you about. It's like, well, I had Kendrick ahead of Method Man about the catalog, but look at all the work that Meth keeps putting in.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And look at what, Mike, has the legend or the stature of these songs gone anywhere? And that's what I mean about how your catalog holds up. It's like, well, does Kendrick have anything that makes you feel the way that you feel when stuff like Cream comes on? Or Shadow Boxing? Like we can just go to the guest stuff, Bring the Pain, I'll Be There For You, How High, The Rockwilder. It's like, well, does he have that? Because Method Man as an MC, well, he has a better voice than Kendrick, right?
Yeah.
He has a better delivery, right?
Think he got a better delivery?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Method Man delivery-wise to me is top 5. It's like for me, delivery-wise, like Biggie and Method Man, like that's it.
Kendrick's more creative, right?
Yeah, Kendrick is more creative. Do you think Kendrick's even more lyrical? Because he's not. Like, if you think Kendrick's more lyrical than Meth, you're wrong.
It's a good question to ask.
Hold on. Kendrick got a verse starting off like this. Scriptures hit the body like sawed off shotty. It's like my head naughty and my nose piece snot. Like, he start off like that. He be getting into that rap shit like that. Like I told you, you got
look inside my parking garage and see a collage of every person I despise since the moment I turned 5. Calculate my steps and strategically took my time. Even falling off, I land on the ass of Nicki Minaj. Oh.
Okay, we can give it. I mean, I'll give you that, but we can keep going. I breaks it down to the bone gristle. Bill speaking.
I have nothing for that one.
Blazing. Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like where you want to go.
I have nothing for that.
Wise man once took horse and made glue. Wicked women putting your blood in stew. Don't that make the stew witches brew? I fear for the 85 who don't got a clue.
Incredible
How could
verse.
he know what the fuck he never knew? Right.
Yo, I love that verse.
Everywhere. We can just start like I said, you don't want to start pulling that mess shit out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, murder one lyric at your door. To cow bring it to that ass roll.
Breaking all the rules like glass jaw.
You got to get mine to get yours.
We don't need a rap show. I'd rather catch you with the rap show. More than you bargained for. The cow stays open like an all-night store. For real, I keeps it ill like a piece of blue steel, pointed at your temple with the intent to kill. And in your existence, Emcee.
Hold on, what's that shit on? Capone and Noriega watching CNN. Black Whip, Black Tents. Y'all ain't CNN. It's Counter Meth. Come on, like he's got shit everywhere like that. Like,
I think people in the chat are agreeing. Method Man got Kendrick, and you know what? Next week we're gonna see what's what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, this is what I mean about Kendrick's catalog being so important. Well, you understand that the only reason that you're ahead of guys like Method Man, Black Thought, and Jada Kiss is about this album shit. Because like like rhyme wise and classic song wise and guest appearance wise and like everything else that makes up an MC wise, except for the album, these guys are better than you. Clearly.
What do you rate this album, Coop?
4.25. Same thing I rate
I had that written down too.
I think this is the first time we agreed on 2 albums back to back.
Wu-Tang. We agree a lot on Wu-Tang stuff, actually.
Wu-Tang is forever.
Nas the GOAT says, who has the better guest appearances, Nas and Meth? Off top of my head.
The better guest appearances. Meth has the more legendary, impactful guest appearances. It's different. Like does Meth have a verbal intercourse or like an eye for an eye verse where it's like lyrically, it's like, oh, well, you can't like, no, but it's like, does Nas like make you feel like the way Method Man makes you feel on Cream or Ice Cream? Fuck no.
I'm down to do a mock versus on that. I'll take Method Man.
What, the guest appearances?
Uh-huh. I'll take Meth.
What, Nas's guest appearances versus Meth guest appearances?
Mm-hmm. I'll take that.
I'm afraid, actually. I'm afraid. I don't even, I'm actually, that's a problem. That's problematic.
Yeah. The real Leonard Washington says, I always prefer Redman over Meth on How High. Me too. And Method Man was my favorite rapper at the time. Redman's last verse, shit.
Okay, so I think, how about this? Redman's last verse.
The best verse on the song.
It was Rhyme of the Year in the source, and it should have been, but here's what I would submit to you. He competitively felt like he needed to prove a point. Because here's what you have to realize. When Meth's walking in that room with Redman, people need to listen to this. Meth's not the top-notch MC in that room when Meth's walking into that room. That's Redman. Redman's the one with the 5-mic album. Redman's the one that's made There Is a Dark Side. Redman's the one with the solo credentials. Redman's the one that's tied to Eric Sermon and EPMD. Wu-Tang Clan's been out for a year and a half. Like Redman's the big dog in the room when they're walking in and making How High. And so Redman was making a point too, because here's the thing. Meth smoked his ass on those first 2 verses. Now, didn't he get him on the first 2 verses? Yeah, he killed him on the first 2. He got him on those first 2 verses. Yeah. He's got Red on those first 2 verses. You think Red didn't hear that?
Well, Red kind of extended that last verse too.
No. That's the original version. Okay. The original. That's what I'm saying. Is
and they cut it short for the radio, right?
It didn't extend it. Redman did. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like Red's like, no. He's not about not me. I'm Redman. This is 95. I'm Redman. No. He's competitive. He's an MC. Ego. He's got an ego. He dropped a 5-mic album. He's coming off There Is a Dark Side. I know Wu-Tang is big and Wu-Tang is for the kids. That's in 95.
Muddy Waters came out that 96 too. So I don't know which song came out. I don't know if How High came out before or after Muddy Waters.
How High was 95, the show soundtrack. That's summer 95. That's the year before Muddy Waters.
I don't know why I'm thinking that How High was 96.
Nah, it's 95. Everyday Thing, the Me and My Bitch Over the Computer Love.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
Dubstep, Summertime in the LBC.
Yeah, that was 95. Yeah.
95.
Man, yeah. I guess I played How High like the whole year and a half. Yeah.
Look here. I can remember a time, listen to this. I used to like be able to play like How High and then play like Summertime in the LBC. Oh, My Block by Tupac is on the show soundtrack too. That's one of the best Tupac songs ever. That's a top 20 Tupac song. My Block. It's old school too. He's got 4 verses on there. My favorite Pac ethos is on there. Can't explain what attracts me to this dirty game. Gold chains, some extra change, and the street thing. That's what he said on My Block on the show in '95. Keep in mind, he's locked up when that's coming out, so it felt totally different to hear him saying that while everybody knew he was locked up. Can't explain what attracts me to this dirty game. Gold chains, the extra change as in I'm not making a lot of money. Remember I was telling you about the flashing the money with Death Row? That's a year later. That's part of why I remember it. Like, explain what attracts me to this dirty game. Gold chains, the extra change, and the street thing.
I love straight balling too, man. Speaking of 4 verses. Yeah. I'm seeing in the chat. Facts, Coop. Top 10 track for me, My Block.
Yeah. My Block is that shit, man. That's the Tupac that, hold on, the guy that we love, that guy is on My Block. Like, the guy that's all eyes on me is like a great all-time rapper. That's not the guy we love. The guy we love is on My Block, Me Against the World, like strictly for my niggas. That's the guy.
Nah, for real. There's the mainstream Pac, or the one that they remember, immortalized for certain things and certain images that we see. And there's the Pac that we all fell in love with.
Yeah. He's right. Hold on. Somebody's right in the trap when they're saying like Scarface's My Block is greater. The ethos isn't greater, but the overall composition of the song, Scarface is right there with his ethos, and he's a comparable MC to Tupac, and the production's better. So I'll take Scarface's My Block off the fix over Tupac's My Block. But both of those are top 10 records from top 10 MCs, though. How about that?
Definitely.